anything. We can't do anything because we're not in the EU. We're not the big, powerful Britannia that we once used to be, where we were going around the world and slaughtering people. We're a little island.
Oh, Britannia. Is immigration a problem in the UK?
I don't think it's as much of a problem as some people make it out to be.
Why do you say that?
I mean, things like the NHS, like a lot of the doctors and stuff are foreign. People make it seem like, oh, it's too many people, but I think they make up for it. Like, there's a large percentage of like the workforce that is immigrants.
I think it is a problem because there are a lot of people that are trying to vote for Nigel Farage. I think it shouldn't be a problem. I think anyone should be able to live here. It's a free country.
Is immigration in the UK a problem?
No, don't know. I reckon generally immigrants do more good than bad, I would imagine, even if they try to portray it sometimes where there's one mad immigrant that they try, obviously, you know, highlight, so to speak, but, you know, that's the minions that carry on with that stuff, yeah.
Is immigration a problem in the UK?
No,
Why do you say no?
because it's fundamental to our existence.
Oh, why do you say that?
Because we need it. We don't have enough people being born in this country. We need immigrants. It's simple.
I would say no, but I think the majority of England, or not majority, but big parts of England think yes.
Why do they think that?
Because of media and how the politicians have infiltrated their minds.
Because when I moved here roughly 10 years ago, I'm a European citizen, and obviously before Brexit, UK was part of the UK and all of that. It was easy back then. Nowadays, it's not. You have to have some sort of points. You need to get a visa. It's just not easy anymore, and it's a struggle. Even though UK have a lot to offer, it's just a struggle if you want to belong somewhere, and if it's UK in this case, England, it's hard because you don't feel welcome.
Do you think we have an overpopulation in major cities?
I think it's not so much as overpopulation as it is like a cost of living crisis. Like, I think if you look at, like, there's been an increase in the amount of homeless people, and I think that creates an image of overpopulation, but I don't think it's that as much as people not being able to afford to find places to live. Right. I just think it's easy to put it all on immigration, and it takes away the blame from all the people that actually they have a duty to fix those issues.
Do we have an overpopulation in major cities in the UK?
I think we do have overpopulation, and I think a lot of people that are predominantly white that have lived in the UK and are English complain about people taking their jobs, and I don't think that's right.
Do you think we have an overpopulation in major cities in the UK?
Yeah, that I do think though. I do think we have major I think for the sum of land that we're overpopulated, I would say, for sure.
But is that because of immigration?
No, I don't think it's because of immigration. Immigration only took place in this country because they wanted it to, no?
Right. That's a fair point, yeah.
You know, the Windrush and all of that stuff, you know, that was all forced upon or, you know, glorified to go, yeah, come help us out and we'll give you a better life. Right. And then obviously sometimes it turns the opposite way, I guess.
That's how it goes. Do you think we have overpopulations in major cities?
No, not at all. We've got loads of room.
You think so, really?
Tons of room.
Because everyone says that the UK is such a small thing, the country is individual small islands. Bringing more people here, we don't have the space for it. Like, do you have any thoughts on that?
I think that's a lie. We have the green belt. The green belt is mostly empty space, and we've killed all the animals in it. We might as well build on it. We need houses. It's the fundamental thing that kills our country and kills our young people. We need to build houses. We need to make them so that people can buy them and own them and stop them being owned by landlords. It's the fact.
So I saw another stat on ITV that in the last 10 years, there's 6.2 million people on the waiting list for NHS, sure, and 2 million children in poverty in the UK. That allegedly that is due to immigration. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think it's not due to immigration. Immigration is the reason our NHS works. The thing that causes that is governments deliberately underfunding and sort of underutilising the NHS for what it could really be. It's nothing to do with immigrants coming in. It's to do with it being badly managed and badly funded.
Was Brexit a good or bad idea?
It was a bad idea.
Why did you say bad?
It was a bad idea. I like even when I remember it happening, like when I was younger, like I just remember my parents being like, so stupid, like why? I think like the idea of it was like, oh, we're Britain and we're going to be strong and independent again, but like realistically it made no sense. Like now it's like if I ever wanted to work in somewhere in Europe, like it's going to be so much more difficult. Like why am I queuing in a line with like Americans and stuff? Like when I like no, we're to be friends, we're to be neighbours. Like I don't get it. Like no, it wasn't. And now all these people like that are like running for like Prime Minister when they do their stupid like 1 minute second debates with like one word answers will be like, no, I wouldn't ever go back to the EU, which I think is, yeah.
Do you think Brexit was a good or bad idea?
Terrible idea.
Why?
Because, well, just stating, what if we get in a war? Even though we do have friendships with France, Spain, whatever, if we are part of the EU, it would be so much easier to defend our country.
Right.
So yeah, I think it was a bad idea.
Was Brexit good or bad?
I don't know. I don't think it's benefited us.
Right.
Myself, like in terms of the depths of what they were promising us and stuff, I'm not sure if they've been able to achieve half of it or even a third of it or whatever. Nothing really. I wouldn't say so, no.
Was Brexit a good or bad idea?
Terrible idea.
Why?
Fundamentally ruined every aspect of our country, and by every measurable factor, it's weakened us. We can't. The problem is as well with immigrants, the people that don't like immigrants, that want to get rid of immigrants, that would even be easier if we were in the EU. It's weakened everything. We can't do anything because we're not in the EU. We're not the big, powerful Britannia that we once used to be, where we were going around the world and slaughtering people. We're a little island that's off the coast of the Atlantic. We need to be in the EU to have any kind of power or any kind of say-so.
Do you think Brexit was a good or bad idea?
It was the worst idea I've ever heard of.
Why?
Because it removes the free movement between countries and borders. Okay. And I do not support it at all.
Does the government need a better process with immigration?
In what sense?
Because, again, I've seen a lot of people complain recently, especially when we've got the polls and everything going on. People complaining that, the asylum, that program isn't working. That there isn't better background checks on certain people and things like that.
But again, this has been happening for years. I don't know.
But that's a good point. You said it's been happening for years. So do we need a better system for immigration or no?
How many asylum seekers or people that have come as immigrants cause that many issues, though? I reckon there's more English, Caucasian, British people that kind of deplete our systems more so than immigrants would, I would imagine.
Fundamentally, yes. We need to have fair and legal routes for people to be able to access this country. And if you want to stop the small boats, that's how you start doing it. And eventually, by becoming a member of the EU, that would help us do that as well.
Does the government need a better process with immigration in the UK?
Yes.
Why do you say yes?
Because at the moment it's not really working. Like, stop the boats, send them to Rwanda. Right. I think everyone should have a chance to get a better life, and I'm thinking just put more money into education, put more money into helping the immigrants get a life here and to integrate with the rest of the population.
Why does the UK fear immigration?
I mean, I think it's probably partially a racism thing, partially it's like, oh, well, we have all these issues, why are you now bringing in people from other countries? But I think it's just I get it's you look after your own and whatnot, but it's we're all people at the end of the day, and I feel to be oh, we should be separated just because you weren't born here is, I think it's unfair, especially when they're fleeing from places where it's such conflict and they actually just want better opportunities, a better life for their kids and things like that.
Because predominantly white people may want it to be their country, whereas it can be their country, but it can also be anyone else's country. It's a free country.
I don't know. Do they?
I mean, you look at the Reform Party and Britain First. They're very against immigration.
But right wing's always been there. Isn't it? There's always been left, right, and the people that are in the middle are kind of the ones that generally find a bit more sense, I would imagine. I think anything too far one way is misguided anyway, or a problem. If you're too far left, you're going to have all of this other issue with, gender and all of that kind of stuff. And then you've obviously got the far right wing. They're all on different planets. We just need to find people in charge that can meet in the middle, and I guess try and actually achieve what they should. But it's all about economy at the end of the day, unfortunately. We follow the American model.
Why does the UK fear immigration?
We're told to.
By who?
The elites that own us. So the capitalists and the billionaires that are in charge that really own us and own our parties, mostly the Tories, but now Labour as well, they tell us to fear it because they need someone to blame for our problems when really they're the ones causing our problems.
And I'll ask you more questions, just for fun. Would you vote Reformed?
I'm not mental or racist, so no.
You're going to get me killed, mate. You're going to get me killed.
It's the truth. People don't like it, but it's true. Yeah.